All right, so this morning I took care of a bunch of paperwork down in the office again. We're at about midday with the cold weather that we've had. My plow truck here that you've seen before wouldn't start, so I put on this jump pack and I thought I'd just wait for the weather to warm up. Well, okay, we're in the 20s today. This thing should be at a point where it fires, but this battery I think may have seen its day. And so I'm going to try to get it going so we can take it into town. And yes, I'm capable of changing the battery out, but I'm going to have it tested first of all at Tomahawk Battery, and then if it doesn't test well, which I'm sure it won't, then we're going to they'll just swap it out right away. They'll put a new battery in and I won't have to deal with it. So, and I'm at that point in my life where, you know what, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. So I'm going to try to tuck this into my pocket here. We're going to pull this battery booster off. That wasn't enough to start it either. And so I'm going to then I'm going to do this really uniquely. This is the first time I ever tried it. I don't know what the results are going to be, so stick with me. It might be either something that you can put in your toolbox for down the road as a technique for doing this, but or it might turn out humorously for you guys, not so good for me. But we're going to give it a try. I'm going to put the charger on, and then I'm going to run the extension cord in. I'm going to run it right off the power off of this F-150. Now, where I'm at here, you're asking, why don't I just put jumper cables on it? The jumper cables that I have are not long enough to get that done, so we're going to do it this way. We're going to try it this way. And in my world of trying to expand into the 21st century, kind of wanted to try something a little bit different. So let's give this a whirl and see what happens with it. I apologize if my fingers kind of come across this at any point in time. Here we go. One, I got to put the gloves back on because still isn't the warmest of temperatures out here. So we're going to disconnect the booster over here, the booster pack. Another thing, I am extremely careful with how I do this stuff, because if you touch one of these against a connection that you're not supposed to touch it against, it can turn out rather nasty. I've seen, I was helping a buddy of mine put in a chimney in a roof, and his uncle was up there. His uncle's car didn't start, so his uncle asked my buddy Dean for the keys to his vehicle, pulled it up, put the jumper cables on, and of course he put the jumper cables on, he crossed them, and almost immediately had smoke rolling off of the battery and the cables, and I was really kind of worried that battery was going to land up blowing up on him. Luckily, it did not, and they were able to get it disconnected and shut down before that happened. Another one, I had a friend with a skid steer, and he was going to come help me kind of landscape my new house, and that I built up on Rib Mountain. And so I'm getting this out of this portable jump thing out of the way. I don't even know if this thing works. I have not been overly, I wanted to use it twice this year. It hasn't really done the job for either event, so I think this thing is maybe beyond its years. Let's get this, just for now, I'm just going to throw it in the cab here, and I'll deal with that later. Next thing I'm going to do, so anyways, his skid steer wouldn't start. He got out a set of cables he had. I think I've told this story. And the cables were, for whatever reason, the metal probably, or the plastic coating was about half gone on them, and so the cables were, the metal was exposed, and he turned around, crawl in the cab of my F-150 here, and we're going to plug into 12-volt accessory. Like I said, I have no idea if I'm going to blow the truck up or both trucks or myself or what on this deal, but we're going to give this a whirl. Seems like a real easy solution for down the road. One, should never have to do this in the first place. Battery should be good enough to, it should be on top of it, but battery should be good enough that you don't have to deal with any of this. But back to the story, he touched that against the back gate, and I'm not plugging this in yet, but he touched it against the back gate on the skid steer, that metal gate, and sparks flew, and he landed up around the battery. There was a little bit of acid or whatever, and the battery basically blew up in his face. Scared the absolute daylights out of me because he couldn't see, and I landed up getting him into one of his buildings where there was a sink and washing his eyes out, and we did land up, I called 911, and ambulance came. They took him up to the hospital, washed his eyes out. Luckily, the battery was so bad that it didn't have enough acid in it to really hurt him. Now, where am I going to have it even hook this to? Yeah, they should have got cleaned up this fall. We're going to try that. See if that's a good enough connection. And so, like I said, the battery was so bad it didn't have enough acid in it to hurt his eyes. Luckily, with some medical attention, he was able to not have any permanent eye damage. All right, and you know what? I've never used the outlet inside this truck, so this is a whole new experience for me. I want to make sure that that connection doesn't touch anything metal, and let's see what we get. Like I said, I'm always really kind of careful with this. Hit the button. Must have to have the truck going. All right, let's fire up the truck. Man, we're both learning here, people. All right, so we got some lights here. 2 amp charging. I'm gonna go up to 50 amp engine start. Okay, I got a light there. So let's see if this is gonna work. All right, I'm gonna walk back to the cab of this 2006 plow truck. Here, let's get in. Oh, I had a bell for a second, and okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this sit for about, the battery is definitely down. I'm going to let this sit for probably about 5 minutes. I'm going to come back, and then in the description area, I will put on whether this hookup here worked. But with any of these chargers, if they're that low, you got to give them a little time to charge beforehand. So we're going to leave this alone. I got something going on with the lights on this is you can see the light bulbs are on lately. I want to see if they go out, okay? Because that might be the whole problem behind this. There might be a short in the wiring on something that caused this to happen in the first place. So either that, or I just have to wait a few minutes. The lights, after you're running it, they do stay on for a touch. So let's see if they go out on their own. Let's see what happens. But I turned the lights off. I had them on the Plow. The Plow has the halogen lights. I turned those off. I turned it back to the truck because these were on. The other thing that could be going on, now that I think about it, is off of the doors here. Okay, this one's shut tight, and I can't even get the doors to lock or unlock right now. I gotta leave this sit for a little bit, but I am wondering if that door setup isn't shut tight because I got the cord for the light up on top, the Plow light that you have to have up on the roof, that warning light. I've got that. Oh, they feel like they're shut tight. They look like they're shut tight. The seam is there. I was wondering maybe if that was open and it had not shut the lights off inside the cab and was draining on that. We're going to leave this go for a bit. I will put in the description whether I got it started or not. But yeah, this side of the truck has been a little bit dinged up, but it's been a good truck for me. Does the things I need it to do. And when you're plowing, if I hit something with this, I'm not worried about it. I sideswiped this trailer last year. Matter of fact, with that back panel on the truck, I caught this area of the trailer right here, this corner area. And I was more worried about if I damaged the snowmobile trailer than I was about damaging the truck. So, that's just, and what happened is I had the plow angled, right? So it was heavy snow, and what I did is the plow acted like a fulcrum, and it swung the back end around, and it swung the back end right around into the corner of that trailer. And it's like, oh crap, but things like that happen. When we owned the apartment building, that was always tight corners. I was taking care of the neighbor there. I backed up in the dark, and I'd done it, I don't know how many times. I'd plowed that driveway out, pulled the snow off of that driveway, and I landed up, I backed into a tree and knocked the taillight out. Okay, so we replaced the tailgate and went from there. Or replaced the taillight, excuse me. So that's our project today. I want to get this started. I want to get it into town, take it to Tomahawk Battery. They've always been really good to deal with, and have him give me a prognosis on the battery. But right now it isn't looking too good for I think we're replacing the battery. I thought about actually pulling the battery out of the 2016 F-150 over there, putting it in here, and putting a brand new battery in the F-160 F-150 over there, the blue one, because I thought I'm going to own that one longer. But this truck has to run, because even if I can probably get it going on a cold day, but I want to make sure that if I'm sick or down, that my wife at any point in time can hop in this truck, and she's got a dependable, reliable, truck for moving some snow on the few places we have left yet that we need to take care of. So that's our project for today. I get this taken care of, then I'm going to work on electrical outlets and that in the 3-season room for a while today yet, if that works out. And then probably tomorrow, you're going to want to watch tomorrow. I got a really cool thing coming up on, we've got water filters in the house, and it's kind of a unique system, and I'm going to show you how that works, and I'm going to show you how I change those. We got the new filters in. We get new filters about every 3 to 4 months. We're set up on the company automatically sends them to us, and so we change them out, and it's a great setup. I'll explain more on that tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Hit that like and subscribe button, and for those of you out in the community that are seeing me on Facebook, just like to say hi to you, and hope things are well with you, and this is what's going on in my world right now. Take care. Goodbye.